Here at Helmuth Ford, we are a small-town dealership with no hassle and no pressure.
Attention Iowa business owners. Is your business missing sales because you're too busy to follow up? Every missed call or delayed message could be costing you money. At Easy Biz Tech, we help local businesses stay ahead by automating customer follow-up, so no lead gets left behind. Missed a call? Our system texts back instantly. Need personalized outreach? We send automated texts, emails, and even use AI-powered voice agents to connect with your customers 24/7. Stop losing money because of slow follow-up. Contact Easy Biz Tech today, where Iowa businesses win online.
The Keokuk County Veterans Affairs Office in Sigourney wishes you the very best this holiday season. And please remember those that aren't with their families this year, as they are protecting our great country. For more information on Keokuk County Veterans Affairs, contact Michelle Herman, the Veteran Affairs Administrator at 101 South Main in Sigourney. Don't get left out in the cold this winter. Head to your local Sinclair Napa for unbeatable deals on all your winter automotive needs. We've got a variety of jump packs, battery chargers and maintainers, windshield wiper blades, and de-icers on sale now. Plus, you can save up to $25 on select car batteries with an online rebate. Don't forget to grab a bag of Roadrunner ice melt for those slippery mornings. Visit Sinclair Napa in Montezuma, Sigourney, Centerville, Williamsburg, or Ottumwa, or at sinclairnapa.com. Let's glow crazy for the new year at Copper Lantern Sports Bar and Grill at 101 North Jefferson in Sigourney. We want to ring in the new year with a fun-filled glow party, 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. on the eve of 2025. Dress up and let's have some fun at Copper Lantern Sports Bar and Grill. Drink specials, music, jello shots, glow-in-the-dark games, and bring a snack to share with your friends. It's all happening New Year's Eve at the Copper Lantern in Sigourney. Julie's Homestyle Cafe at 216 South Market in Oskaloosa is a small place with a great big taste of home cooking. Established in 2009, Julie's Homestyle Cafe serves breakfast, lunch. You can have a slice of pie, dessert, and soft drinks. Julie's Homestyle Cafe is a veteran-owned cafe serving traditional breakfast and homemade lunch meals just like Mom used to make. Find more information at julieshomestylecafe.com or follow their page on Facebook. And a good morning. Welcome into the sports section. We are live from Barn Wired on the Square in Sigourney on this kind of a dreary morning here in big old Sigourney, Iowa. Post-Christmas edition of the sports section live from Barn Wired. We have a stacked show today, including Sigourney Keota Wrestling. We've got North Mahaska Wrestling in the house, and also we're going to be getting to a couple of different Eddyville, Blakesburg, Fremont wrestling teams, both the boys coming up later and the girls right now. Let's go to our host, Andy McGuire, who is standing by with the EBF girls and Coach. Andy, take it away.
So we're going to start with the ladies this morning. Welcome to the program, ladies, and Coach. Coach, can you go ahead and get us started with telling us who these girls are, and then just talk about your program? We were talking before we went on air here. You have 21 total girls wrestling this year for EBF, for the Rockets. Introduce the girls and tell us how many who else is on your team.
Yeah, okay. So we got Ella Ray right here that I brought with us, Chelsea Smith, Miley Kirkpatrick, and Abby Derflinger. Well, like you said, we got 21 girls on the team. This is the first year that we filled an entire roster. I mean, we've got a girl at every weight, which is pretty uncommon right now, especially in 1A wrestling. So they've been doing a fantastic job with that, and we've just been kind of going to tournaments and taking care of business. So
have those tournaments mostly been duels? Have you had any quads yet, or how's that been going?
So we've had a few quads, mainly in girls wrestling right now. It's more tournament based. Just because it's the way the schedule works out. So we've had 6 tournaments so far, and we've been team champs at 5 out of 6, and we were runners up in the state L tournament. So,
Coach, you're gonna have to bear with me because I am not a wrestling aficionado. As far as just the classes that these girls wrestle in, is it the same as what the boys wrestle in weight classes? I'm assuming it's shifted.
So
it's different.
The weights are different. There's still 14 weights, but the weight classes are different. So I think it starts at 100 pounds. It goes all the way up to 235. There's not a lot of variation once you get up into the upper weights. I think there's really only 2 weight classes that are kind of in the heavier, 170, 90, and a 235. But yeah, so there's definitely some differences in the weight classes.
Yeah. To be expected, but girls wrestling is becoming more and more popular. I'm so excited to hear 21 athletes are on your team, and I know that North Mahaska has a great wrestling program. SK has a wrestling program. I have a niece that wrestles over in Washington, so it seems like this sport's really gaining popularity. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, I mean, you see a lot of posts on Facebook that it's the #1 growing sport in the nation right now. And there's a reason for it, man. Girls are just falling in love with wrestling, and it's easy to see why. You come to a tournament, man, and they are having a blast with it. So,
could you also tell me about the EBF girls wrestling program as a whole? When did you guys get started, and how have the numbers been since its inception?
So we got started as soon as girls wrestling was sanctioned. I wasn't the coach for that first year. Richard Ledington kind of stepped foot, and he took that under his belt. And I think they had 3 girls. Is that right, Chelsea? Yeah, so they had 3 girls to start off with. Last year we had 15, 16 girls, and then this year we had, I think, 23 to start off with, and 21 was the final number for this year. So it's definitely growing pretty rapidly. Yeah. So to see 3 to 17 was a pretty big number.
So. Yeah, it's fantastic to see that growth. 3 to start with, and now you're all the way up to 23 down to 21 now.
And Chelsea's our OG. She's been there since day one of sanctioning. So.
All right, day one. Congrats, Chelsea.
So.
You must be the senior then, right? Or are you a freshman? I'm joking.
Actually, 3 of them here are seniors with us, so we'll be losing them next year. But right. it's going to take a hard hit. They're definitely not easily replaced. So.
All right, well, let's jump into the ladies that are with us today. So I'm going to pass the mic off, and why don't you just tell us what your name is, who your parents are, and what you enjoy about wrestling.
My name's Ella Ray. My parents are Leslie and Kelly Ray, and I just really enjoy the atmosphere of wrestling. It's very intense, and there's a lot going on usually, and it allows us all to be competitive as individuals, but as well as a team.
My name is Chelsea Smith. My parents are Travis and Liz Smith. What I love most about wrestling is just the mindset that I get into. I love the discipline. I love the hard work. I love going in and just giving it my all. Just overall, I just really love the sport. It's done a lot for me and transformed me really as a person to have discipline and take ownership, and that if you really want something in life, you really have to work for it.
My name is Miley Kirkpatrick. My parents are Mindy and Caleb Kirkpatrick, and what I love about wrestling is the team and how we all get along.
I'm Abby Derflinger. My parents are Nicole Chickreen and Dustin Derflinger. What I like about wrestling is the family aspect that the team is and the support you get from just everyone around you.
Very good. So show me a hands again. Who are the seniors on this? Did we have 3 seniors? Is that what I heard earlier? And 1 junior? Junior. All right. So you're the lone junior. Yeah. All right. So that's fantastic. And Abby, you were actually wrestled for Cardinal last year. Is that correct? What made you want to make the change to come over to EBF? I struck a chord here. Should I not ask this question, Coach?
Oh no, it's a fair question. I she's been asked it quite a bit, so she should be ready.
There's just a big environment change switching, and just a lot of support, and just maybe a little bit better opportunities for me personally. And
my son goes to Iowa State, and I would say that you guys, EBF, has much better colors than what Cardinal has. So I'm probably going to get kicked off the program for saying such things. But
by the way, Andy, we should mention that Abby is not as short as she appears. She is sitting on a shorter seat. She is not like a little person. So,
all right, Steve. So I watched him walk in, and I'm pretty sure that Abby isn't as tall as at least one of the girls sitting right to my right. But that's okay too. All right, girls. So tell me about practice. What do you guys do at practice? How intense is it? Are you guys going full throttle, wrestle the way that you practice, or how does that go? Abby, we'll start with you and work our way back down.
I like to go into practice thinking that you have to train harder than you perform, just so you can get a better feel and just work harder than what you'd want to do in a match.
What is the question?
Practice, how is practice for you? Do you go 100% every single minute, or is it more technique? What do you guys focus on in practice?
I try to focus on more of my technique and learning more, but I try to go 100%, like especially like weight cutting and stuff.
For practices, usually when we're doing like our warm-ups and stuff, I try to like go 100%, and then when we work on our technique, kind of slow it down a little bit. But then when we go live, I like to go 100%, just to see how well I can do in those live positions.
I really think it's important when working on technique to like stay in focus and like keep your mindset on like every little bit of it, because it's really important to pick up the little details. But once we get into live, it's worth it to give 100% of the energy you have left, because once you get into a match situation and you have 30 seconds left on the clock, are you going to get the takedown or not?
And so, you prepare for these tournaments, and you walk in. What are the goals in those tournaments, and what goals do you ladies each have for this season as we're getting into the backside of it? We're really getting ready to start the second half of the school year, and for you seniors, this is going to be a last chance to be on that mat, most likely, unless you're going to go to college. So we'll start with that. What are the goals for the rest of the season?
I think it's just to take home more like team tournament titles, knowing that like right now we're not ranked as a team, but it's really important for us to get our name out there and like show that we have a lot of talented athletes on our team. And for me personally, it's just to wrestle as the best I can that day and give it my all.
I'd say my goal is just getting more team tournaments. Personally, just winning, giving it my all, and then coming up towards districts, just making it to state and hopefully winning state.
Breaking news, Steve. We don't want to lose.
Same as Ella and Chelsea. I really like when we like win team tournaments and stuff, and my goal is like to either win or wrestle as hard as I can.
I like to go and perform better than I did at the last tournament, whether it's just working new positions or just anything like that.
Coach, I think we might have some modest girls here. Can you tell us what maybe goals are that you would expect out of these athletes?
If you would ask me that question maybe a couple weeks ago, I might have had a different answer. I would say a couple weeks ago we were pretty gung-ho on winning a lot of these tournaments. Like they just said, I mean, they're all about the team, so there's kind of the answers I expected from them. Now that we've won 5, it almost kind of seems like par for the course, when we go out there. But as of right now, I think, we're going to be rolling into January here pretty soon, and we're going to be going to the district tournament, and after that the state tournament. So our goals are kind of shifting towards that a little bit more. We have 14 girls on the team, and pretty loaded team. If I had it my way, I'd like to send 14 girls to state tournament, and then top 3 at the state tournament. Pretty friggin' awesome. So,
and you think that's well within reach, Coach?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if anybody's watched this team wrestle, I think everybody knows what we're in store for. So it's a pretty special team.
All right. Well, ladies, it's been an honor having you on this morning, visiting with us on the sports section. So I wish you nothing but the best moving forward. Congratulations on a successful start to a season.
I'm going to butt in with a question here, Andy. So EBF, the girls' sports really seem to have taken they're top notch. It seems like all the girls' sports at Eddyville are really rocking and rolling right now. Of course, the Schaefer girls with volleyball and basketball. You guys with wrestling. Is there anything in the water down in the Eddyville area that is making the girls really top notch athletes? Anybody want to answer that?
I would just say we have the right people in place right now. There's a lot of people that are in positions to keep improving and helping these girls' skills as they keep growing and developing as humans and athletes. And I think the girls really take off with that, and they're not afraid to be pushed. I think it's just a group of girls that just strive to be pushed, and they're always looking to get, we like to say, get 1% better, every day. And I think they challenge that, and they say, well, I'm going to get 2% better. So when you got a group of girls that want to push the bar, I think you're seeing what's happening. So
awesome. Well, let's before you get out of here, let's get a group picture here. In 3, 2, and I think I got a good one. All right, you guys are good to go. Thanks for coming in. Eddyville, Blakesburg, Fremont Girls Wrestling, and you guys can exit stage right. We'll bring in the North Mahaska team while we're in transition here. What we're looking at on the screen right now is a picture of Abby Derflinger. She was our Athlete of the Week for this past week, as voted on by people that hang out on Steve Shetler Media on Facebook and YouTube. And Abby Derflinger of Eddyville, Blakesburg, Fremont Wrestling voted our Keokuk County Hospital and Clinic's Athlete of the Week. Now, as far as our Team of the Week, we've got the Kelly Style State Farm Team of the Week, and that was voted on to go to English Valley's Girls Wrestling. So congratulations to the EV Girls. Again, their wrestling team voted the Kelly Style State Farm Team of the Week. Abby Derflinger, your Keokuk County Hospital and Clinic's Athlete of the Week for this past week. All right, we are live at Barnwire this morning. Let me adjust my camera just a hair. If we can all scoot in just a little bit closer and get really nice and cozy with each other. Coach is going to go to the back. So we do welcome in North Mahaska High School Wrestling. We've got a combination of the girls and the boys team this morning. Some familiar faces. I've seen you guys popping up on my news feed quite a bit here on Steve Shetler Media. Let's go back to Andy with North Mahaska Wrestling.
All right, rolling through the grapplers yet again. Coach, can you introduce us to who you brought with you today?
Yeah, so to my left, I got Macy Little. She's our returning state qualifier for the girls. Joel DeYoung, he's a returning state qualifier for the boys, and Ryan Groom, he's also a returning state place winner for the boys.
So talk to us about the girls. Ladies first. So tell us about Macy and her career. Macy, is Macy a senior, junior, sophomore? Where are we at in this, Coach? I'll start with you, and then we'll hand it off to her and let her take off from there.
So Macy is a sophomore this year, and she, I would assume you've wrestled for 10, 12 years now?
I think 8.
Yeah, okay, 8 years, there you go. So known Macy and her father, well, I've known her father for probably 30 years, so good to see him. And she's just a leader, and really, you'll find out real quickly she knows how to talk, and she does a really good job at that. So,
well, let's find out about that. You know, most of these young athletes that we bring on are maybe a little more vocal outside or away from the camera, but you put them on the camera, and it's kind of like Vince Vaughn in Four Christmases. Do you get that reference, Steve?
Yes.
Excellent. So, Macy, you've been wrestling for a long time, right? Mm-hmm. You said 8 years.
Yeah.
I'm guessing maybe even longer than that if your dad was a wrestler, right?
Yeah.
So wrestling runs in the family. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay, and you're a returning state qualifier. As a freshman, you qualified for state.
Yeah.
Tell me about that experience. We'll start with that.
Well, it was really nerve-wracking. I was not expecting it to be like that nervous, but it was a lot of fun. And it was fun to be on the mat. So.
And how did you finish up, if you don't mind my asking?
I think I went 1-2 at state.
Yeah.
I went 28-4 over the season.
28-4. That's a fantastic record. Qualifying for state as a freshman, that's almost unheard of. So that's fantastic. What kind of goals do you have set for yourself for this year? Are you expecting another state run?
Yes, and I'm hoping to place, so I'm excited.
Right, and the season started out really well so far?
Yeah.
Any losses?
Yes, I have 2.
2 losses, okay. And what is your record, Macy? Let us know that.
I think it's 19-2.
19-2. So you've been on the mat a lot so far this year.
We have a lot more meets this year and a really good competition.
Yeah, and it's tournament style. The ladies from EBF were telling us that. Can you talk about this tournament style versus just a dual or maybe even a quad? How does that tournament style lay out?
Well, there's not a lot of girls teams that are like full, and we only have 10 girls, so we don't have like a full team, so we don't really do many duels, and if we do, it's like with the boys. So the tournaments are like brackets and like round robin, so you get like way more matches.
Gotcha. So you said 11 girls total, and so you guys don't fill out a full roster at a tournament? No. Okay, so you have to take 3 forfeits then? Is that the right number, Coach? Yeah.
Correct. Yep.
All right. So tell me about some of the other girls on the team. Can you throw out some names there who you wrestle with, maybe who are, the upperclassmen leadership, or maybe even some younger stars that are coming through that maybe we know the names?
We have 4 total that came back from last year. We have Kieran Perez, she's a junior. Amara Edwards-Hinton, she's also a junior. And then Kaylee Shipman. And then we have one girl that's a freshman that's coming back, and she wrestled last year and the year before that. And then we have a bunch of new girls coming out, so it's exciting for them to be able to learn and love the sport too.
So with 11 girls on the team, I'm sure you have a lot of different size, a lot of different skill level, weight class. Is that something you guys compete against each other, or do you guys even mix it up with some of the boys sometime to get some more competition?
A bunch of the girls stay together, and only a couple of us will actually go with the boys.
Gotcha. Well, that's exciting to hear. Great numbers for North Mahaska as well. You know, they had 22, is that what we said? And you guys have 11. So it's awesome to see the sport growing for girls, specifically, I think. And it's still as popular for boys. And so we're going to roll over to the young men that have joined us too. Can each of you guys, we'll start with you. What's your name? What class are you in? Parents, and what are your goals for this season? That's a lot I'm throwing at you, so I apologize. So we'll start with name, and I'll help you through it.
I'm Joel DeYoung. I'm a senior, and my parents are Sean and Tanya DeYoung. Goals this year is to place at state. Last year I lost in the blood round, so.
Yeah, man, you nailed it. I thought that maybe led you down a wrong path or too much info, but you hammered it. So
wait till your next one.
All right, so we're gonna roll it over to Ryan, right? So Ryan, tell us your name, parents, and
Ryan Groom. My parents are Ryan Groom and Erica Groom. I'm a junior, and my goal is to place higher this year and get to the semifinals.
Gotcha. All right. So how's the season going so far? If you guys don't mind sharing your record and your thoughts on how you've started out.
I'm 13-0, and I think I'm doing pretty well this year. I'm doing better than what I have started last year with. So.
Rough start to last year?
What?
Did you have a rough start to last year? Do you think you're doing better, or just?
I'm just doing better this year, I feel like.
Okay.
I think he's probably seen more ranked kids than he's seen towards the beginning of the year last year, and he's been really successful against those ranked kids. I think that's probably, and he's really, with all these guys, goal settings helped them out a lot, so they're starting to actually realize the things that they're doing and seeing some of the accomplishments that they've been having because they've been achieving some of those goals already. So it makes it a little easier to see some of that success when you have goals in mind too. So,
Coach, can you describe each one of these athletes that are in front of us right now, personality-wise and prep-wise, that sort of thing?
All right, so Macy, wonderful Macy. She definitely loves to have a conversation. Doesn't matter if it's morning, noon, or night. She's really tough on the mat, and she's dynamic when it comes to the mat, dynamic when it comes to personality, and she's her dad's one of my assistant coaches, so she's had some really good coaching. Actually, you're going to meet another one of her coaches here, Coach Boyer. Coach Boyer's been there with her, along with these boys too. Got to give a lot of credit to him. He was my assistant coach for quite a few years, and I loved having him there. But she's really coming into her own this year. She's not as, I would say, not as afraid of the spotlight, not as afraid of the competition as she was last year. And I don't want to say she was afraid, but she's embracing it more than she was last year. So, Joel, you're going to get between these two yahoos. They've been together for a long, long time. And Joel's one of those quiet but really aggressive young men that he just excels in everything that he does. And again, I've had his two brothers. I'm hopefully going to have his younger brother, so hopefully going to be able to coach all of his family through wrestling, and it's been a pleasure throughout there, and success has always come his way through hard work and the rest of that. So, and then Ryan, of course, I've known him since maybe he was a baby, my son. So the one thing I've always described about Ryan is he's never been afraid to work hard and never been afraid to push the pace. Usually pretty darn quiet. That's why they fit together really well. And just impressive with both of these guys, but very impressive with both their leadership skills. And their leadership really comes through very quiet but very targeted, vocal cues. Unfortunately, they leave it to me more than they probably should leave it to themselves, but they lead by example by far. So
that's a common trait. I know that we see that with the SK football team, and you see it in a lot of different leaders. I talk to a lot of young people on this program, and it seems to be a consistent theme that a lot of the higher level athletes are they tend to be a lot less vocal when it comes to being on the field or on the mat or on a court, whatever the playing surface is. And that's no different for you guys. So it's exciting to hear that. Now, Macy, on the other hand, it sounds like you might chatter a little bit more.
Yeah. Your sisters take care of being quiet. You take care of your sisters take a little more pride in being quiet, and you take a little more pride in enjoying yourself and making sure everybody else enjoys themselves too. So we do appreciate that, thank goodness. So
yeah. Well, I'm noticing the WWF reference, the Warhawk Wrestling family, and I was going to try and avoid this question, but I'm going to start with, do you guys have a wrestler that you look up to, whether that's at the high school level, this year or previous years, or collegiately, that you try and emulate when you guys are on the mat? And we'll start with Macy.
I look up to my dad a lot, and he helps me a lot, so that makes me happy.
Okay.
Next. I like to watch Dayton Fix and Austin DeSanto. I kind of like their wrestling style. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Good to hear Hawkeye in there.
I would say probably my dad. I wrestle like him, and he's taught me everything I know.
All right. So do you guys ever watch professional wrestling? You do? Are you a fan, Macy?
Well, I don't really watch it that much, but I watch it a little bit with my dad. So.
Yeah.
I watched it a lot when I was little.
Did you really?
Yeah.
All right. Do you guys have a favorite professional wrestler? Macy's shaking her head no.
Sure, turn around and show them the
nice. The Ultimate Warrior. Yeah, I didn't know if this topic is really taboo. Oh, we got Steve doing it now. You're going to have to get on this side of the camera.
Don't even get me started on pro wrestling.
Trust me, I checked with the kids. So at North Mahaska, I'm the industrial tech teacher, and we print all the shirts and we do all the stuff we have our own screen printing shop. So I made sure I asked the wrestlers, number one, do you guys know what WWF is? Because it's not been around for a long time. And they said yes, but I had to say Hulk Hogan for them to know what that was. Uh-huh. And then number two, I asked if they knew who the Ultimate Warrior was. Now, a few of them I had to show a picture of. The second I showed the picture, they knew exactly what it was. So I could go with this theme this year. So
yeah. And so, Coach, you're a fan, I'm assuming?
Yeah. Ultimate Warrior and is kind of my guy, but then Hulk Hogan there, of course. And, all the old school guys, Jake the Snake Plum, and a whole bunch of other ones. We can go into a bunch of them, but yeah, I got lucky enough to grow up in the time when that started getting really, really big. Mm-hmm. So,
Steve, I know you want to say something about this topic too.
Yeah, I could just go on. I could do my own podcast on professional wrestling. I'm an old school guy like you. My guys were the Road Warriors, the Legion of Doom.
Gotcha.
So.
There you go.
All right, guys. I don't have any more questions, but I wish you all the best of luck. I always enjoy watching the Athlete of the Week, and it always seems like there's a North Mahaska athlete in one fashion or another, and I'm sure we're going to see much more of you all as we move forward here. So congrats on a great start.
I'll throw in something here quick. Macy, I follow the Pin Doctors page on Facebook, and I think they just had a post yesterday about your dad. So they were talking about, is your dad, was he a finalist, or
yeah.
Where did he place at the state tournament?
He was a finalist, I think 2001.
Okay.
And that's the only kid he ever lost to. That his whole senior year was the Belle Plaine kid.
Okay, and that was he wrestled for Tri-County, right?
Yes.
Okay, so was it
All
Brady?
It was Bart.
Brady Little? Bart.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So just a little interesting tidbit that I saw roll up on my Facebook news feed yesterday. Let's get a picture of you guys before you get out of here. 3, 2, and 1. All right, that is North Mahaska Wrestling. Make sure I tagged them in the Facebook post this morning. Make sure you follow their page. Of course, North Mahaska, they really support what I'm doing here on Steve Shetler Media, so we're always happy to have some North Mahaska athletes on the show. So North Mahaska Wrestling, thanks for being here this morning. Thanks to all of our athletes for being here this morning, getting up early on a Saturday morning after Christmas. Let's take a break here from one of our sponsors, AE Realty. Find your Iowa dream home with AE Realty in Montezuma. With unparalleled industry knowledge, experience, and local expertise, AE Realty is the Montezuma real estate expert you've been looking for. Whether you're buying or selling, AE Realty can help you get the best deal. You can find AE Realty at 321 East Main Street in Montezuma. Call 641-623-2639 or online at www.aerealtyinc.com. All right, we thank AE Realty. They are one of our sponsors here on the sports section here on Steve Shuttler Media. Again, we are talking high school wrestling today. Our second team from Eddyville, Blakesburg, Fremont coming on to the screen right now. We've still got Sigourney Keota wrestling to get to this morning. But the EBF boys, and we've got host Andy McGuire. Andy, take it away and jump into this next segment.
All right, 2 athletes and 1 coach. I might be able to remember the names of you guys, I hope. So help me out, Coach. Who'd you bring with you today?
We got Landon Davis right here, and we have Gage Spurgeon right here.
These 2 guys look a little ornery to me. If I'm judging a book by a cover, is that a fair statement?
Very, very fair.
Uh-huh. And it looks like you already got beat up.
Yeah, wrestling some people that came into the room to come wrestle me, and it's hard matches. So.
Yeah. Did you get the W or did you take the L?
Definitely took the L with them. They got beat crap out of me for a solid 2 hours every day.
That's one of the things I love about wrestlers is they will tell you exactly what they're thinking and exactly what happened. So you took the L, but that's all right. You know, you get better from that, right? All right. So, Coach, describe these guys for me. They look ornery. We've taken a couple of losses, but I assume that we're going to bounce back from that.
Yeah, so we'll start with Landon. Describing him, I would say off the mat, and this is probably, they're both pretty similar. Off the mat, they're pretty goofy guys. If you'd see them in the hallway in school or just out around town, you probably wouldn't expect them to be elite level wrestlers. But then once they step in the wrestling room, strap up their wrestling shoes, they turn into really high level competitors and guys that don't like to lose in any situation, no matter what we're doing. Guys going 100 miles an hour all the time, doing the right things. So it's a pretty accurate description.
So what class are you guys in, and what weight class do you wrestle at? So grade in school, weight class wrestling.
I'm a junior in high school, and I wrestle 138, and we're 2A. So
I wrestle. I'm a sophomore, and I wrestle 126, and yeah, we're 2A.
What kind of goals do you guys have set for yourselves for this year? You can go ahead, and we'll work back this way.
I'm gonna win state this year again. That's my only goal.
I love it. I'm going to win state again, and that's my only goal. Love it.
I want to have an undefeated record and win state. Like, no losses, win state.
Yeah, amen,
Perfect
brother.
year.
Nice. So let's soften you guys up a little bit. What did you get for Christmas? What was your best gift?
I think my best gift was probably an Oculus that my mom got me. That or my Yeezys that I'm wearing right now.
There you go. So what do you play on the Oculus?
Boxing game and Gorilla Tag.
Gorilla Tag? How does that game work?
You're like a gorilla, and you like have to tag people. It's like an infection. It's like zombie tag, kind of.
I've never known tag to be an infection.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
Landon
fun,
also enjoys family pictures and Christmas outfits.
What?
I can tell it. Do you have an ugly sweater or something?
No. He's just talking about we have like Christmas pajamas we have to wear for Christmas at my house. So
was that your idea or was that Mom's idea?
Mom's idea, not my idea.
What a surprise. All right, favorite gift?
Favorite gift was a heated blanket.
Yeah, very good. Is that to help you cut weight?
No, it's just when I'm cold at night. I have a million blankets on my bed, so a heated blanket helps me.
Oh, God. This is phenomenal, Coach. Thanks for bringing these 2 guys today. So let's talk to you a little bit.
Okay.
Are you a professional wrestling fan, perchance?
Yeah. No. Actually, no. I'm not a professional wrestling fan. Never really watched it.
Well, I was going to ask your question on Gable Steveson. Of course, you know who Gable is, right?
Yep.
Yeah. What's your opinion on that guy?
Well, I love him when he was wrestling. I think that you love him or you hate him, I think, and I think he's good for the sport, but I think he needs to figure out what he wants to do.
Exactly. And that is the basis of my question. And I guess I go back up. You're wearing black and gold for EBF. Are you an Iowa State fan? Do you watch collegiate wrestling at all?
Oh, yeah. Admit. Very big fan of college wrestling. Big Iowa fan.
Yeah. Excellent. And back to Gable Steveson. Is it an atrocity that he did not come to wrestle at the University of Iowa?
Yes, I would have liked him a lot more if he would have came to Iowa.
Amen,
and I would have
brother.
loved him to stay in college as long as he wanted.
Amen, brother. All right. What's that? You're not a Gable Steveson fan?
No, he's back wrestling.
Oh, he is back wrestling? How did that happen? Do you have any idea?
I have no clue.
He has years of eligibility, and the other routes did not work.
Yeah, he's like Jordan Bohannon. He's like a ninth-year wrestler.
Yep.
Is this a JUCO thing? Have you guys heard about this JUCO thing where you can wrestle for like 11 years or you can compete for like 11 years?
Yeah.
You get all 4 years, plus you can have a couple of redshirt years, plus you can wrestle for 4 at the
JUCO.
Yeah. You guys have plans to do that? What are you guys' plans? You guys going to be wrestlers in college?
Yeah, I want to go D1 in college, wrestle for college. So that's my plan.
My plan for college is kind of undecided on the wrestling aspect of things.
Mm-hmm.
But
Got interest somewhere else, or what are you thinking there? Do you have like a career path you're thinking about?
Yeah. I want to go to Iowa State and go to be a physical therapist, like major in that, go to PT school and stuff.
Yeah, excellent. That's relatively common, I would say, for student athletes, to be in the physical sciences, that sort of thing. So that's cool to hear that you're thinking about that, moving forward and have those plans, each of you, either way. You guys don't seem the type that would need to necessarily cut weight. Is that the case?
Semi.
Cut
a little bit, but not that much.
Yeah, there's not a lot to cut there on either of you, I'd say, on those frames. Do you guys struggle doing that, maintaining weight, cutting weight, being ready to rock and roll?
No, not when you're practicing every day like we do. We have hard practices every single day. The room's always open. You pretty much go in whenever you want. So, yeah, it's just not that hard to maintain weight.
Right. So what's the wrestling room like? You guys got music pumping? Is it loud? Is it fun? Or is it more serious?
Yeah, Mr. Boyer bought us huge party box speakers, JBL speakers, 2 of them, and they're just freaking really loud. Mm-hmm. And we listen to those during live and warm-ups. Usually during drilling we turn it down and everything, but those are pretty nice.
Whose playlist is running?
It always depends. It's usually like his, mine. We got a couple of others. Gage sometimes does it, and Simon.
All right.
They love 90s country when I get to play it.
90s country.
Makes practice a little bit more relaxing.
Yeah. You guys like some Shenandoah?
I don't know anything about 90s country, to be honest, but he plays it a lot.
Gage, what's on your playlist?
A lot of different stuff. I don't know. Yellow Fever.
Yellow Fever? I don't know that song. Can you sing it for me?
No.
You want to try? Apparently not. All right, what's on your playlist?
Some 80s rock and rap, like this generation rap.
This generation, okay. Coach Boyer, tell me more about this 90s country.
Well, it all started because there was a day that they forgot to bring a phone in. I let them one person bring a phone in that's going to play the music. Well, nobody brought a phone in, so I'm like, you know what? Today we're going to listen to my playlist. So I threw on the country mix. Going to educate him a little bit on some George Strait.
Oh, okay. What George Strait song? I have to have specifics. I get this all the time. They're like, oh, we got a mix of today's rap, whatever it is. Give me a song, Coach.
I would actually say that my favorite song probably that we've played is probably Thunder Rolls. It's not a George Strait song, but Thunder Rolls by Garth Brooks.
Yeah. Can you sing it?
My voice is kind of it's kind of hurting today, or else I would.
I think Coach Vandenheuvel will help. No? All right. Coach, You look like you're fit enough to wrestle these guys. How often are you down rolling with these cats?
Frequently. Almost every day. Depends on if I'm giving them a break that day. But yeah, it's frequently.
Yeah. Do you hold the mortgage to their homes? Do you own these guys?
Yes. Yes, I do.
I'm sure you do. All right, Steve, you gotta have some questions for these guys, right?
I did have a question. Oh, I was going to ask. You were talking about cutting weight. So during the holiday season, is it tough to not just gorge on like turkey and ham and pumpkin pie and stuff like that and put on all sorts of weight, or are you very meticulous about the way you eat your holiday foods?
Personally, I am very bad about that. I eat like pretty much whatever I want during the holidays and just cut it all off after and just get extra workouts in, but I always make weight for it.
All right.
So.
How about you, Gage?
Yeah, I'm the same way. I eat whatever I want, especially during Thanksgiving, because that's my favorite holiday. So
sure.
Yeah.
Is it hard to cut weight afterwards, or how much weight do you think you put on between Thanksgiving and Christmas that you have to cut? I mean, do you put on a few pounds? Is it easy to put on a few pounds after like a Christmas meal?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. Probably 5 pounds.
Okay. Coach, what were you gonna say?
So these guys, when I'm talking about like that wrestling is their thing, like we keep the room open all the time. So thing about it is like on Thanksgiving, we had it open on Thanksgiving morning and several kids were in there. So I mean they can go eat as much as they want as long as they want to work out more. And that's the thing about these guys, they're not afraid to work out. So they can go eat pretty much whatever they want. They just got to get some extra workouts in. And they're not afraid to do that.
Yeah. Awesome. I was also going to say, we have like several different wrestling teams in here this morning, and you all seem to get along pretty well. Is there some camaraderie between the different wrestling, the different wrestling teams, the different schools here in the area? Or do you have friends, within the wrestling community from different schools?
Yeah, I do. A lot of them are good friends, like from other wrestling, like out of high school wrestling too, and just like hanging out. I don't know. Yeah, that's you talk.
I think the main reason is that we're all really close. Is when we were all younger in middle school and elementary, we all went to the same club, Outlaws. Dimitri used to run it, and we've all just stayed in contact since then. Just everyone in this area. So
okay. Coach, what is that? Your thoughts, or what do you think about the camaraderie?
I think one thing that helps us. First off, I was an assistant coach in North Mahaska, so I've been at Eddyville for 3 years. I was there. I was Ryan Groom's assistant coach for 5-6 years. 2, we're a different class than the other ones. They're 1A, and so it's they come and wrestle with us sometimes over break. I'd have several people in North Mahaska that I still keep in contact with. Coach Van and Hoovel and his boys came to my club when I was still running it, and we've had some combined practices. So I think it's more one of those things. We sharpen iron sharpens iron. We get in there and we bring our kids together and they scrap with each other, and we're kind of all have the same mindset. I think with all 3 of the coaches is we kind of know what to expect. We all come from a similar background, even though we're different ages. We come from a similar, grew up in wrestling rooms that had the same goals. So I think that helps when you have like-minded people around. And you just kind of mesh really well.
Awesome. I think that's all I got.
No, thanks for being on the program, guys. Really appreciate you.
Let's get a picture before you get out of here. Again, we appreciate you guys getting up early on a Saturday morning and coming and hanging out here in the big town of Sigourney. That is Eddyville, Blakesburg, Fremont Boys Wrestling here on the sports section. Again, we're live at Barn Wired, a fantastic place to get in here for some breakfast and some coffee to get you going on this Saturday morning. I know they also have some great deals with post-Christmas deals that you can take advantage of to maybe load up on some Christmas decor for next year. We've got Sigourney Keota Wrestling coming in next. First, let's hear from another one of our sponsors, Tassel Ridge Winery.
Are you looking for the perfect holiday gift for a friend, colleague, relative, or hostess? An Iowa wine from Tassel Ridge Winery is an excellent place to start. Red, white, and blue and blackberry are very popular among sweet wine lovers, while fans of white wine love our award-winning Kennel Glow White and Brianna. For people who prefer pink semi-sweet wine, we offer Steuben and 8 other rosés. Dry wine lovers like our 2021 Iowa Petite Pearl. Tassel Ridge wines are available at the winery and at 350 retail outlets located all over Iowa.
Again, we thank Tassel Ridge Winery for being one of our sponsors. Come on in, guys, and we'll take a look at our basketball schedule. We're talking wrestling this morning, high school wrestling. This is the time of year to try to squeeze in as many wrestling teams as we can on the sports section. But we're looking at my basketball schedule for Steve Shetler Media. I tell you what, coming up next week, the end of next week, we're going to jump back into things hot and heavy. We've got Pekin versus Columbus on Thursday night. We've got Sigourney at Linville-Sully coming up on Friday night. And then the following week on January 6th, a huge matchup. We have North Mahaska taking on EBF. That girls' matchup is going to be top-notch. Sigourney at North Mahaska at Baxter coming up in January. Tons of basketball on the way here in January and into February here on Steve Shetler Media. We are doing the sports section. We are live from Barnwired in Sigourney, Iowa, and we've got SK Wrestling coming up next. Andy, I'll let you take it away.
And we do have a mix of SK Wrestling, and we have everything from the youth level, we got the junior high level, we've got varsity, we've got Coach Vandenhoevel here. Coach, can you introduce these young athletes for me?
Yeah, so we've got a senior wrestler from the Sigourney area this year, Brady Clark. We've got a junior wrestler from the Keota area, and Jacob Leib. And then we've got these two that I guess from the Watcher area, but Sigourney kids, Riker Vandenhoevel and then Rhett Vandenhoevel.
All right, we're going to start with the varsity level so far. So we'll start with Brady as the senior. Brady, how's the season going so far for you?
It's going pretty good. I think as a team we're not doing bad either. I think a lot of new wrestlers are learning a lot in the room with the older kids, and then with the kids coming back over Christmas break, they're learning a ton with them too. And yeah, individually I'm doing just fine. Just fine.
Can you share your record with us? I hate putting you on the spot. It's like asking a girl how much she weighs. But I want to put you on the spot anyhow. So tell us how you're doing.
16-2 so far.
All right, 16-2. Aspirations for the year. Where are you going?
Hopefully first to make state, and then obviously to place at state somewhere.
Yeah. And how are you going to make that happen?
Just win a bunch of matches.
That's what I love about wrestlers. I tell you exactly what it takes to get there. Jacob, the junior. Jacob, how's the season going?
Pretty well. It's great having a lot of new faces in the room and helping them learn how to learn a new sport, I guess.
And Brady mentioned that too, new faces. Tell me a couple of the names, a couple of guys that are catching your eye that are showing some promise.
We got a freshman in Paxton Weir at one of our lower weights, and then we have a couple older guys that have never touched the mat in Wells Clark and Owen Clark. And then we got a transfer from Grinnell and Bryson Horace.
Yeah, I saw some highlights or a mention maybe in an article about Bryson Horace wrestling at the varsity level. Is that accurate, Coach?
Yes.
What weight class is Bryson at?
So right now he's at he went to high school last year at Grinnell, and then he's transferred to the Keota district this year, and is wrestling 126 pounds for us. So weight that would have been open, and now it's filled, so we're blessed with that. And yeah, there's an awful lot of very new faces. Jacob said a lot about that. Paxton Weir, as to my knowledge, this is the first competitive sport he's ever participated in. So, there's a learning curve there. And then Bryce, who has wrestled before, Gavin Culley, has been wrestling 132 pounds for us, who just got his first win in a tournament last Saturday at Iowa City Regina, and he was excited. That was fun. Dylan Weber is another one that has not wrestled. And then, as he mentioned, Wells Clark, Aiden Flowers is another one that has not wrestled. So there's a host of kids that have never wrestled before, and they found out quickly that it's not easy, but there's a lot of learning to do in that sport, and we're glad to have them. They help fill a lineup, and that's a lot of it.
Yeah, it's really exciting to see the numbers that SK has at the youth level, at the junior high level, all the way through. I think it's a testament to what you and the rest of the coaching staff, what you guys do for the program. Talking about that varsity, Coach, can you fill out your weight classes for us to know who's wrestling where and maybe where there's some competition going on?
Yeah, so you mentioned competition, and competition is what this sport breeds. Anytime you can get competition, I guess in anything, but especially this sport, it's a one-on-one sport. We have 3 guys trying to fill spots at 144 pounds. We've got wrestle-offs going on after break at 165. We've got wrestle-offs going on at 138, and that's where you have multiple wrestlers at one weight, and they got to fight to get that spot. So far this year, leading into Christmas break, we've had Paxton Weir at 113 pounds. We've had Bryce Horace at 126, Gavin Colley at 132. Dylan Minke wrestled 138, and at 144 was Dawson Meyer, and Brady filled the 150-pound spot. Jacob Leib filled the 157-pound spot. Wells Clark was our 165-pounder. Ashton Schwab was our 175-pounder. Jaden Thompson filled in at 190. Zach Guffey was our 215, and Owen Minke was our heavyweight. That's what we looked like before break.
So you're talking about a lot of youth on that team. I mean, there's just did I count 3 seniors? Because we have Brady, Dylan Weber's a senior, and Jaden Thompson, right? Because Owen Minke would be the junior, and a few others. So it is a really young team, and so that gets back to what these guys were saying as far as maybe some new faces out there and doing some of those things. You also have a JV squad as well. Can you talk about some of the names that you didn't mention there that are going to have an impact moving forward?
Yeah, so the guys that don't make the varsity cut, it does not mean that their season's over by no means whatsoever. We go to a lot of JV tournaments, and even at dual meets, if the other teams have multiple wrestlers at a weight, we match them up and they get matches there. Matter of fact, we went to Pella PCM and Pleasantville the other day, and we had a couple JV wrestlers that got more matches than our varsity wrestlers. So that's good. Get them experience, get them out on the mat. Some of those guys that weren't mentioned in the varsity level are Aiden Flowers, Dylan Weber, 2 guys that just have never wrestled before. So Kane Kopp just gets kind of behind a couple guys that are pretty quality and but keeps wrestling every day and comes to practice. And it takes those partners. Earlier Coach Moyer said iron sharpens iron, and that's what it takes, is just people pushing each other back and forth, getting better every day. And when wrestler A gets better, wrestler B gets mad, so then wrestler B gets better. Next thing you know, wrestler A is getting mad and he's getting better, and that's what it is. It's just a fight every day to get better. And you talk about numbers. The high school program, I'm getting really excited again for the numbers that are in junior high. We had 28 junior high wrestlers this year, and they I think they were above 55% win ratio every single duel that they went to. So that's impressive. Very excited for those, because a lot of those boys, we're going to have them next year in the room. And even to take it down one more notch by the age, in our youth program, we had 71 kids in our youth program that come to practice on Monday and Wednesday. That's impressive. I think it is. And those kids are in there, and they get to see these guys walking out of practice. They get to experience maybe a little bit of practice if they show up, and they're excited. And the little itty bitty ones just put a smile on their face. They come running in the room, and they're all eyeballs and teeth, man, they're smiling with wide-eyed, and they're just excited to roll around with their buddies, and that's where it all starts.
Yeah, I've got one that participates in that, and it's fantastic to see all the kids flooding in, flooding out, and just to see the passion of the coaches. I get a shout out to Coach Seeley and Coach Myers for what those guys do on that mat with those kids, because there's a lot of passion there. I mean, I've been to tournaments, and I'm not a wrestling guy. I never put a singlet on and did that thing, but it's such a sport where it teaches life skills.
Yes.
You know, it isn't just about rolling around on a mat with another guy. You know, it's about being tough. It's about, you know, where can you stay in your head and how can you do those things, like you say, compete and get better. But I do want to talk to these young guys, and we'll start with Riker. Riker, how's the junior high program doing? I'm sure you've been wrestling, and how are you doing?
Yeah, so the junior high program, like he said, has been doing very good. Every meet we've been above 500s, even 70% some nights. And me personally, I went undefeated this season, so that was good for me. But we're not done yet. We're still looking at state and districts, and this weekend I'm actually going out to Winter Nationals in Omaha, so that'll be a lot of fun.
Rhett, are you joining them on that trip?
Yep.
Yep. Are you going to be wrestling or are you going to be watching?
I'm going to be wrestling.
Attaboy. And I know you do the youth wrestling thing. How's that going? How many tournaments have you been to so far?
I've only been to 2 tournaments. So I went to Pella on last Friday, and then I went to Indianola last Sunday. And I've been 3-3.
3-3. Yeah, that's pretty good. Hit some tough competition along the way, and that makes you better, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how many tournaments are you planning on doing this year?
A lot.
Usually we try to take them to about 5 or 6, maybe 7 before we get to districts. You know, they need exposure out on the mat in front of the crowd. They need that. But they also just need to work on basics and getting better too. So it's a mixture, and each kid I think is different. Some of them don't like being out on the mat, especially at a younger age. Some of them just aren't into that yet. But you know, you can learn a lot in practice, right? And some of them just thrive being in front of people, and that's really fun when they like that, because then you get to go to a lot of tournaments. So I think each kid's just different individually.
Yeah. And so I'm going to ask Riker this question. Riker, who is the most competitive between you, Rhett, or Lexi?
Oh boy. Well, every now and then at home, everybody gets into a little scuffle, and it always ends up someone either crying or something, but I don't know on that one. That one's toss up.
Equally competitive. Rhett, do you want to weigh in on this? Who's the most competitive?
Me.
There you have it.
No.
And I'm sure if Lexi were here, she might disagree with you, right?
We'll just go with Mom. She's not here. Yeah, we'll just go with Mom.
Really? Is Mom more competitive than Dad?
Probably.
Really? No kidding. Because I think Dad's pretty intense. Do you guys think so?
Yeah.
Yeah. Brady, Jacob, how's practice? Does Coach get after you guys?
Yeah, we get after it pretty good every day, especially on break. We get after it a lot. A lot of live wrestling, just get better, really. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, so what's the wrestling room like? I asked the other groups, was there music playing? Is it loud? Is it fun? Or is it just all business?
Some days it can get pretty loud. Depends on the mood everybody brings to practice. Usually you leave and you're in a pretty good mood if you had a good practice, but yeah, we got DJ Flowers. He puts on the music for us and gets it going pretty rowdy. I practice personally better with music, so I like it, but it's personal opinion.
Right. Jacob, how about you? Are you a music guy, or are you more just roll up the sleeves and do the work?
Well, I like listening to music before my matches, so personally I also like to listen to music when wrestling in practice, so helps me focus a little bit better.
Yep. And I always ask, what's the song? What's on the playlist? We'll start with Coach Vandenheuvel. Coach, what's the song that gets you going to prepare?
I don't know if I've got an individual song, but as these guys all know, I'm kind of an 80s rock guy. Well, when you're born in the 70s, it's hard not to be an 80s rock guy. They play some of this new, I'll be polite and say it's stuff. I'm just not into it, but 80s rock, everybody can fall into that, and it's usually pretty good.
Yeah. Brady, do you have a song, one song that you would listen to?
No, not really. Just a lot of rap and rock, the newer stuff, not 80s rock.
Not 80s rock. Yeah. No AC/DC. No Metallica.
Not AC/DC. Maybe Metallica at the most, but that's about it.
All right. So give me a new artist. I got to get up to speed on who some of these new rap artists are. AKA stuff, according to Coach Vandenheuvel.
Throw out like Lil Baby. He likes all the rappers with the Lil before their
Lil.
names.
Everybody's a Lil.
Yeah, he
Lil
really
this,
likes
Lil
those.
that, right?
Say Lil Baby, he's one of my favorites.
Yeah. So when you say Lil, I think about like Lil Wayne, Lil Jon,
Yeah,
but that's
those
too
are-
old, right?
Them are not too old. I mean, they've got good songs, but they're not. Yeah, rap all of it.
Is Lil Baby's dad Big Baby?
I have no clue. I'm
Mr.
not
Baby?
that in depth on it.
Yeah. I wouldn't even know the song. Jacob, how about yourself?
Well, I like to throw on some Eminem before my matches.
Yeah, from 8 Mile. Is that how far you're going back, or is it something newer than that? Because I see we're starting to get into that range of stuff that I know.
Well, I'll go back to a lot of Eminem's old songs, like 8 Mile and stuff like that.
Yeah, righto. So are you guys, is it easy for you guys to maintain weight, make weight, or you guys have to cut? Do you guys have to bulk? Where are you at as far as your fitness goes?
Well, during Thanksgiving break, it's harder to get down to weight, but right now it's pretty easy for me.
Yeah, same for me. I mean, Thanksgiving wasn't even that bad, really. Not really cutting that much weight. Just especially when you go hard enough at practice, like and you push yourself hard, you're gonna lose 3, 4, 5 pounds at a practice. So I mean, that's a whole Thanksgiving meal plus more. And even throughout Christmas, you get your extra 2 pounds, so that's another whole meal that you can eat. And your body just works it all out by itself too. So I mean, it's really not hard unless you're cutting 10, 15 pounds, but not when you're cutting 5 to 8 pounds.
It seems like this might be a bigger topic for people that are non-wrestlers. Is that a fair statement, Coach?
Yeah. Wrestling itself is kind of a mindset, and cutting weight is too. It's not something that has to happen. There's nothing in the rule book says you have to cut weight. That's a farce. And there's a good way to do it and a bad way to do it. And the days of eating a Jolly Rancher a whole day and spitting in a bottle, I think we're kind of past that. I preach to these kids over and over and over again is you have to eat so you feel like something. So when you come to practice, you wrestle better. If you wrestle better, you're going to get better at wrestling and you're going to work harder, so then the weight's going to fall off anyway. But it's almost easier to just not eat than to eat and work out. But not eating is not the way. That's no good. Trying to put no gas in a race car, are you ever going to win a race? I talk to them all the time about that, and for a few kids it's a constant struggle, but you just got to get in extra workouts and eat what you want to eat, but just get in extra workouts. That's all it is.
Yeah, fuel the body.
Yep.
Well, I think we're going to move to, and Steve, I'm going to put you on the spot, but we have an Aaron Asks segment.
Oh.
So I'll let you pull that up. But before we get going on that one, it's going to be who is your the wrestler that you look up to, that you emulate. So it can be anybody. It could be somebody that you wrestled with in the past, you wrestle with currently, collegiate wrestler. I will say professional wrestler, even though somebody might scoff at that as an idea. But we'll start with Brady. Who do you look up to?
Do you want me to play the Aaron Asks?
Not right now.
Oh, okay.
You just get it ready, sir.
Okay, it is ready.
I would say probably Spencer Lee and DeSanto, just because they would practice, like they were rivals in high school, and then they'd go to Iowa together and they practice and grind it every single day. And you always see videos of them just going crazy, beating on each other, and then always being friends after practice. And then they'd go and during competition they'd be scrappy and wouldn't like to lose. They really didn't like to lose, and you could always see that with those two. And it's just how I want to be.
Jacob?
Well, when I was younger, I really liked watching Iowa versus Penn State wrestle, and one of my favorite wrestlers was actually from Penn State, and his name was Nick Lee.
Rhett?
I look up to, like Brady said, Spencer Lee and Austin DeSanto. They're just, and Alex Marinelli. They just get to it and don't mess around, really.
Yeah, we got the bull in the house.
Yeah. Fan favorite, probably Spencer Lee. I mean, he just knows how to do the sport, and he's very good at it. So.
Yeah. And he has the best tagline of any athlete, in my opinion.
Once again, I got to back it up a couple eras. I was raised. I kind of was glued to the TV when Gable had his monster of a team. Years ago with you had Zappital at 118 pounds. And then you had Terry Brands and Tom Brands and that era. What's really cool about those guys is when that group finally graduated, how many of those guys went on to take head coaching jobs. The head coach at Ohio State was on that team. That team was just a monster, and that whole team is where I loved the intensity. Our old wrestling coach in high school was from Iowa, so he actually took us back to the wrestling room at the University of Iowa on Sundays, and you got to watch them guys practice. They were truly monsters when they crossed into that circle, and that was fun. That's who I looked up to.
And that's wrestler-wise. Coach Van Hoovel, is there a wrestling coach that you look up to on how he conducts himself on the mat, during a tournament, during a competition?
Really any coach that has respect, respects the kids. But no, I don't know that there's a certain coach per se. Of course, I've always have the utmost respect for a couple of my coaches when I was in high school, and even to this day, I have the utmost respect for them guys. Sometimes you don't understand that or realize that till a few years out of high school, when we all start getting a little smarter and we finally realize that our dads are pretty smart and all that, but there's several coaches that when I was going through the area that these guys are in, that I still have the utmost respect for them guys.
Yeah, that's what it's about. All right, Steve, we're ready for jingle time.
All right, let's do it.
Aaron Asks.
Time for Aaron Asks here on the sports section. And Andy, what is your wife Erin asking today?
All right, so you guys should know Erin. If you don't, she's famous. And her question, and she texted it to me, that's why I'm looking at my phone. Do you hear, and then we'll start with Brady and work our way down, do you hear everyone yelling directions at you? If you've been to a wrestling match, you know that happens. Your dad, your mom, your teammates, coaches, or do you block it out and just do your own thing?
Yeah, my grandma and mom are always asking me this, and I think I've heard two people if you count Corey. I've heard one other person, though, ever outside of my match, and it was my grandpa. I think it was at Regina, I'm pretty sure. I heard him yell, "Use the chicken wing," and I used it, and I pinned the kid. So that would be the only time I've ever heard him. And I know my mom and grandma are screaming at the top of their lungs, and I can still never hear him. And there's lots of times where I can't even hear Corey. It's just lock in and go do it.
Yeah.
I can't hear a thing with those headgear on.
Yeah. Is it just the headgear, or is it also the adrenaline being in the match?
A little bit of both.
Yeah. Rhett?
The only thing I can hear is my dad, and sometimes like Coach Steve or Coach Myers.
Me personally, I don't hear anybody. I mean, after a period, I'll look over to him and just see what he's saying, and then I kind of understand. But during the match, it's just like nothing. It's just silent and just, yeah.
Getting after it.
I guess I want to add to that. I know in our gym in Sigourney, I love it because you can't hear anything. And I just want to say thanks to our crowd because it is semi-controlled chaos. The kids love it. I love it. Everybody that leaves that gym, especially if we have a good duel, everybody is just fired up, and that's fun. The other thing for the kids is, if we do our job all throughout the week in practice, there's not a lot you can coach during the match. In between breaks, like Riker said, talk through some things. This year, Brady and I have talked a couple times at break. Hey, what's the score? What do I got to do to get, a little strategic in between breaks? And I know we all holler and stuff when the match is going on, but if they're truly locked in, it is hard to hear, and especially in our gym because our fans are awesome.
And the back half of the question is, Brady touched on it, the chicken wing. Is there one move that you guys specialize in, that you're looking to throw down on somebody, or do you guys have an arsenal?
We talking like takedowns or
anything?
Yeah, I'd say everybody's definitely has an arsenal, like a lot of go-to moves, and then some that you only have to hit when you need to hit them in special situations. But I would say my absolute go-to is any setup to a knee pull or a high crotch. It's just, if you hit it right, it's so easy, and it works almost every single time.
This year, I'd say my most common takedowns are a high crotch or a slide by, and on top, I look mainly for the half Nelson.
I normally do high crotch into a double leg or like a sweeping single, and on top, half Nelson.
Well, on my feet, I can hit an arsenal of moves. I can hit about anything. But if I really need points, I'm probably going to hit like a slide by or something. And then on top, tilts and turns and that kind of stuff is how I do it.
And for me, that's the fun part of coaching is every one of these kids has their own go-to is what we call it. You know, when the chips are down and you need points, what's your go-to? And something I've always tried to install in them is be great at one and be really good at a couple others. You know, but when the chips are down, I want to know what's your go-to that you need a takedown or whatever it is. And that's what's fun for us is to everybody's different and coach them all a little different, but yet all the same.
All right. Steve, questions?
What's your go-to move, Andy?
My go-to move? Oh, man. I go to the
What's your
refrigerator.
finisher?
What's my finisher? I go to the fridge and find a snack, maybe, and then watch these guys wrestle. Usually when I'm watching Tate wrestle, it's kneel on the mat and yell as loud as I can, be more aggressive. You know, that's what I do with Tate is just, get after it. Because Tate hasn't developed that arsenal yet. You know, he's still working on finding his identity. But he's strong and he can be quick at times. So, that's what the thing I focus on with him. A, because that's what he has, and B, I don't know anything more about it in wrestling. So I rely on Coach Van Den Heuvel, Seeley, Myers, whoever's there to help that out, and his teammates to make him better. So
I'll ask you, Coach. First of all, thanks for coming in this morning. I know you guys had practice and got in here. Appreciate that. But so let's go back into the Wayback Machine. You were talking about like the 80s earlier. You and I kind of come from the same era. I think I'm the old man here. But you most likely remember Coach Jack Smith from Sigourney Wrestling. He kind of set the tone back in the 70s and 80s for Sigourney Wrestling and had very dominant teams back then. What are your just general thoughts on kind of the legacy of Sigourney Wrestling and maybe Coach Smith in particular?
Yeah, so a little story about Coach Smith, and in the way back, my mother worked at Lewis Rich, and they were there very early. So my mother would drop us off at early morning practices in Sigourney, even though we went to Tri-County. And then a couple hours later, my dad would come to Sigourney, pick us up, and take us to Tri-County. So yeah, I was actually under Coach Larry Bird. Jack Smith was there, a lot of those, and. So yeah, it was that's those are big shoes to fill. He did it very well, and he did it for a lot of years, and had a lot of success. The one thing that I can take from that is how many people or how many athletes were under Jack. They had 2 and 3 and 4 deep at every single weight. And to go back earlier, iron sharpens iron. If you're competing every single day to keep that spot, you're going to work your tail off. And, if you have a bad day, next thing you know, you're on JV or maybe the third man or the fourth man down the line. If you continuously have good days, you're going to hold that spot. And them spots were held very, very high level. And there's nothing that would make me happier than to have 3 or 4 deep at every single weight. And I don't get a chance to roll around with these guys as much as I did even a couple years ago. But I've said over and over again, my best practice is if I could go into practice and completely get my butt kicked for an hour and a half and leave. That's what I want. And it's possible. Getting easier and easier to kick my butt now, isn't it, guys? Yeah. But no, he had an era that was absolutely amazing, and hats off to him.
Yeah. All right. Well, before you guys get out of here, let's get a picture of you together. And all right, there we go. 3, 2, and 1. All right. Again, we thank Sigourney Keota Wrestling. Andy McGuire, another great job hosting this morning. I know you got a lot thrown at you this morning, as we've done the last few weeks. So I got several area teams in. So we'll do it again next week. Andy, I know you've got the week off. Of course, we do thank Barnwired for being our host venue. Barnwired at 119 East Marion in Sigourney. Give them a call at 641-622-9912. They've got home decor, coffee, and more. They got some great deals on Christmas decor as well, as the Christmas season is winding down. So that'll do it for this week's show here on the sports section. Again, we're live at Barnwired, and we'll do it again next Saturday here on Steve Shuttler Media.